YouTube fandom community, Beach Boys fans, random people on the internet. My name is Giggens, and we are here today to talk about the Beach Boys 1982 compilation, Be True to Your School. This thing actually kind of exists. It's pretty sweet. The reason why I wanted to talk about this, one, because I, up until recently, didn't know it existed, and two, fills in a lot of questions I've had about a lot of things with their albums over the years, reissue-wise, throughout the 70s. So to start with that, we're going to go back in time a little bit. We're going to go back. So I'm going to put this down for a second. In the 70s, the Beach Boys basically, long story short, in the late 60s, Capitol decided to delete their albums from existence, besides Little Deuce Coupe and a couple greatest hits albums. So in the 70s, if you wanted to buy a Beach Boys album on Capitol Records, you would buy something like this. Or you'd buy a reissue like this. And they only put out a few of their albums. That's it. And they were all reissues. So this is called Dance Dance Dance, and it's a reissue of the Beach Boys today. There was also California Girls, which I have hanging up on my wall, but I don't feel like taking it down. There was California Girls, there was All Summer Long, which kept the original title, and then there was also Fun Fun Fun, which was shut down Volume 2. Each of these albums lost 2 or 3 tracks. And the reason was, some of the reasons were, Capitol didn't want to pay royalties, or they just wanted to make a shorter album, or cut out some of the filler. I say filler because a lot of the tracks that were taken off were either instrumentals or the talking tracks, like Bull Session with Big Daddy, Cassius Clay, Mike Love, whatever that one's called, and the other one. But wow, that was the most detailed experience I've ever had on this channel. It doesn't get better than that. So anyways, people would buy these albums. And let me just show you this because it opens up from the left, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. I don't know who the hell came up with that. And they did this for a lot of groups, not just the Beach Boys, but like Patsy Cline and a few other people. But Orange Capital label, these guys in particular came out around 1971, 1972. Because they've got the Orange label, I'm putting it either really late 71, because they were still using the green labels by that time. Definitely 72, 73, and even 74. Because it's also got the round Capitol logo on these things. Anyways, so these albums came out in the 70s, and basically this was it. If you wanted to buy a Capitol Beach Boys album of one of their sort of albums, this was it. So you're missing some songs. And, you know, the rest of these albums, pre-1966, were just like out of print. If you wanted to buy an actual copy of the Beach Boys today, or Summer Day, Summer Nights, or, you know, All Summer Long, these albums, as they originally were, didn't exist. And so you were missing songs. And so if you bought Endless Summer, Spirit of America, and then Sunshine Dream, you had a lot of these tracks, and a lot of them sounded really, really good. But you were missing some stuff. That's where Be Sure to Your School comes in. So this album basically collects all the missing tracks, not all of them, most of the missing tracks, from these reissues throughout the 70s. So instead of like just reissuing their albums completely, Capitol, from what I can tell, put this together as a way to kind of pick up their loose ends and just throw something else out in the market on the cheapo label to put in like the $2 or $3 bin, saying, hey, here's the rest of the stuff you probably don't have for now. We're not going to reissue these albums again for a while. This is it. I really do enjoy this album, though. It's a very bizarre, unique track listing, and the whole thing is in mono, and it sounds stellar. Sound-wise, holy crap. I mean, it is so clear and detailed, and it actually kind of works as an album. It's bizarre to say that, but it really, really does work. Also, check out the back cover. I mean, how cool was that? It says Beach Boys on Campus 1063, and it's the, was it Don't Worry Baby 45 cover of them walking up the stairs. But I just love this album cover as a whole. You know, Brian's trying to look cool, Carl's watching him, and down here it looks like Dennis is trying to tell like a really dirty joke, and Mike's thinking about how he should react, and Al's just like, oh man, Dennis, you're crazy. But here's the track listing. It starts off with a single version of Be True to Your School, so it's like the cheerleader version. Then it goes to In the Back of My Mind, bizarre. In the Parking Lot, bizarre. Surf Jam, okay. And then Car Crazy Cutie, alright. Side 2, Amusement Parks USA, not a bad way to start. Carl's Big Chance, random. Custom Machine, awesome song. Stoked. And then I'm Bugged at My Old Man, Mike Love gets zero credit for anything on this album. It's all Brian Wilson, Roger Christensen, Carl Wilson gets 2 credits on this thing, which is unbelievable. But yeah, as a whole, this thing sounds fantastic. It's one of the cleanest sounding mono experiences I've heard. So, Capitol, if you're watching, please release a Beach Boys in mono set. That would sound so cool, and we'd buy it. I wanted to go into detail about the creation of this thing as much as I could. There's not much to know out there, besides a guy named Randall Davis. He was also the guy who put together Sunshine Dream. He put this together as well. And his story is a little bit interesting for what I could find. He also put together the Beatles' Real Music, and the Beatles' Rarities album in the U.S. Fun fact about that, in the late 70s and 79, when Capitol got word that this Rarities album was out in the UK, they were just going to re-release that in America. The thing is, though, that version is strikingly different from the American release, because in America, most of those songs had been released. And so Randall Davis was like, let's not put that out, let me do that. And so basically Capitol gave him free reign to make the Rarities album his own, and put lots of different things on there that were not released in America yet. So tip of the hat to that guy for, sticking up for the fans and not, letting people just buy the same crap all over again. So that's really cool. But apparently this guy was the director of merchandising and advertising at Capitol in between 75 and 82, and has gone on to do a bunch of other stuff in the music industry, and apparently he's still doing things, so he's still around. But he put this set together, and that's why I think I like it so much, is because it does collect the loose ends, and it makes a slightly cohesive album that kind of works. I wouldn't call it an album, but I also don't want to call it a compilation, because it's got its own little life. It's meant to exist for a reason. It's meant to exist to pick up the pieces that were left off the other reissues. So you've got In the Back of My Mind, which was left off of Dance, Dance, Dance. You've got In the Parking Lot, which was left off of Fun, Fun, Fun. Amusement Parks USA was left off of California Girls. Carl's Big Chance was left off of All Summer Long. And then I'm Bugged at My Old Man was left off of California Girls. There's only 4 oddities on this thing, which is Surf Jam, Car Crazy Cutie, Custom Machine, and Stoked, which I'm not sure why they were added on here, maybe just for padding. Because those early albums, well, yeah, I mean, Little Deuce Coupe had been reissued, but I think Custom Machine is on this thing. Nope, Custom Machine, I was correct. Custom Machine is not on this late 70s, 1980-ish reissue of Little Deuce Coupe, so there's songs missing on it. So, alright, well, that answers that one. So, yeah, basically that's what they did, which I think is a really cool idea, and it works well. So, let me show you the actual record. It's on the cheapo, the cheapo green label from 1982 at that point. Would have been really cool to see this on the color band label, because by this point they were just starting to do that again. I think 83 may have been the official launch for that again. But nonetheless, still cool to see on the green label. This also came out on cassette, so it's out there on cassette too, but I love the record. I also the back cover, man. The back cover is so cool, having that picture like that. So, I do recommend picking this up. It's definitely not essential by far, but if you do happen to stumble across it, I can't imagine it being too expensive. Pick it up. It's fun to listen to. It's a fun play. All of the songs are really good. I mean, that's a given, but it flows. There's a bizarre flow to it that gives it its own charm that I really, really enjoyed. So, also, it sounds good. When I was playing Carl's Big Chance, that song in particular really stood out to me. Like, Carl's guitar was really, really bright, really upfront, and very detailed, very clear. I'm Bugged at My Old Man, the vocals on the background, like the whole group harmony vocal parts, Lost to School, that part, very sharp. You could hear every individual voice very heavily. The drums on this thing, again, the harmonies, everything sounds great. I think it's just that mono mixing. I'm not sure what era mono mixes they were, or what dub they were, if they were the original tapes or where they came from, but they sound great. So if you get a copy of this thing, pick it up, listen to it, let me know what you think. I'd be really curious to hear. It's one of those weird kind of things in the Beach Boys discography that I felt needed to be talked about, because it's got its own little life. So it's not just some random throwaway. I think it exists for a reason, and I wanted to show it off a little bit. So that's it. Quick video. My name is Giggens. This has been the Beach Boys. Be true to your school. Be true to your Beach Boys fans, and be true to yourself. That's it. My name is Giggens. This has been Album Reviews. Beach Boys, Be True to Your School. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.